Yo, I just came off making my last fucking video. Until I seen this, and I'm like, oh boy. Hit that record yet again. It is this fucking mindset why we just get bad games. It doesn't matter if the game fails, or actually it was meant to fail. Yes, the failure was the point. Yes. Why are you in this space? Why are you here? Like, don't you have anything better? Why are you in my space? You know, looking at me, looking me, the gamer, in the eye, and being like, oh, Highguard's failure shouldn't matter this much. Yes, it does. It matters a fucking lot, Stacy. It matters a fucking lot. Again, this is unalienable proof that games like these, games made by people who probably have never touched a game in their life, play games, but they know what the salespeople want, or they will come from other games with the same concept, are like, yeah, let's just throw slop out there and cash out on it. It's like, if that's your mindset, you shouldn't be in the space, right? Because gaming is very cutthroat, especially for indie devs. Because you're dropping 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 grand. Some people even take out loans to make a single video game. People take out business loans. Like, it is a very cutthroat industry. But you have multi-billion-dollar companies spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make games that are just not good. While some dudes, hell, sometimes even a single guy or a group of 3 guys are making games and becoming millionaires overnight. We don't have to pretend these things are not happening. And again, human beings are like pattern recognition machines. If we see, you know, like, for example, if we see gotcha games where the entire gameplay loop is to get the anime waifu with the fattest ass, if we see games like that making millions of dollars, billions of dollars, having hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, while a game like this barely has 1,000 at launch and lost 80% of that within the first couple days, people are going to notice what's happening. Like, people are going to notice the trend. And now, anything this studio or these groups of people come out with, people are just going to assume it's bad. Like, okay, maybe you can pull the wool over people's eyes the first couple times, but after that, people just have no consumer faith in you. And you have situations like this, right? You have situations where it's just just people want the game to die. Highguard was there, and now already it seems it has gone. Just 2 days after launch, it is out of Steam's top 200 games. Despite a solid launch at 97,000 peak players, it feels like it was never really here. I wrote in the wake of this launch that the early success was a surprise. But again, for a free game, the point is concurrent players. Okay, it may start out with 100 and something players, but if it doesn't maintain that within the, like, at least 80 to 70% of that within the first couple of days, it's already like it's a trajectory that just goes downward because there is a reason why it's going down. Without But that the real battle has yet to come. Now that the battle's over, the Highguard has lost. Such fucking cringe. I'm not sure if I could have gone any other way. I'm not sure if it could have gone any other way. What we're talking about is essentially a group of developers who left Apex Legends, and despite Apex Legends still being successful, decided to make their own game that is very similar to Apex Legends. I know there are bigger maps and a huge sword and mount and lots of what if Apex but sort of changes, but the foundation of a what if Apex but a game is making a game that is fundamentally like Apex Legends is such oddly worded. And again, I'm probably fucking idiot. I'm tired, and I seen this. I'm like, oh boy. But again, making games that are similar to others is fine, but you gotta understand what makes these games appealing and what the consumer wants out of these games. Again, Apex Legends came out at a good time. Unfortunately, it's why we're never getting another Titanfall. So I hate the game. But I mean, it is a successful game. This is why the reaction to Highguard has confused me a little bit. Why? Like, you're a games journalist. You should at least ask around and see why. Again, people who have played the game, right? Just ask the people who've played the game what they think of the game. Like, there shouldn't be any confusion about it. You're a journalist. You're supposed to find the truth and to ask people who've played the fucking game. But I'm sorry, you're a games journalist. That's not a requirement. It's never nice to see a game fail, and I understand that its closing slot at the Game Awards casts a large spotlight on it, but I'm not sure getting the single business marketing slot available in gaming that other studios would eat their own intestines for is worthy of sympathy just because the game wasn't worth the hype. And again, that's the problem because it would have easily gone better to maybe an indie game dev that cared for what the consumer wants, but now it's given to yet another generic game. I do get why Highguard's high profit failure is drawing commiseration and defensiveness from other developers. So it's like, oh, I understand why the developers are defending themselves, but I don't understand why the consumer, again, the people, again, this is a free game, but again, the people who put their time into the game are just not liking it. I'm just not sure what a game that's just like Apex but offers the world. There are too many games like Highguard for this matter. And again, knowing that they still made a generic hero shooter, knowing there are a lot of games like it, they decided to just make another generic game. It's like, why? Why would you do that? Part of me struggle to believe that Highguard was the passion project it is billed as. After all, we're so quick to deride these sort of games as soulless, enforced by corporate overlords when major studios push them. See Suicide Squad, Concord, Crucible, Marvel's Avengers Anthem. But when the indie studio tries it, it's somehow less of a money grab and true Highguard is not stuffed with microtransactions, but it feels like a choice made solely because this genre was proven to be popular. The devs have made a success of this before. Only the money went to EA. Why shouldn't they do it again? Only this time they keep the money. Again, I get the emotional manipulation that's happening, like you're trying to do. Again, okay, I guess technically it's an indie dev studio, like, but they came from other projects like Titanfall and Apex, so they should know what the consumer wants, but they did not give it to them. And we know a lot of the upper management came from games like Concord. So, yeah, I think this is the consumer speaking again. I get you're trying to be emotional about it, but the market is not fair. At least not anymore, because so many times people try to control the market, and now the gamers are like, no, like, give us what we want, or you don't get our money, period. And you know what we want. If I have to spell it out to you, don't make games. I mean, it's that simple, really. Of course, this is a very harsh read. Some people love playing these sort of games. Yeah, and the people that do are playing Marvel Rivals right now, or that X-Defiant game. They're not playing this game. So it stands to reason why people love making them. Sure. If they understand what the gamers want. And it stands to even greater reason that people who have made them before would love making them again. So let's call it a passion project. No. I'm just going to call it Schlop. Now what? There are dozens of games launching every week that are passion projects made on smaller budgets without megaphones of Jeff Keighley and with far more creative ideas. Yeah, and again, maybe they should have took the last slot. A live service flopping isn't all that's interesting. In fact, it's par for the course these days. And again, I guess you're right, but it's like this game was destined to fail just based off things like character design and level design, and the fact that it's a 3v3 and a map that could have easily hosted a 10v10. And the characters, like, even the varied characters, like, you can look at the Overwatch characters in the first Overwatch and be like, okay, I can understand the character of Widowmaker, or of May, or of Junkrat, because they actually looked interesting. Hell, there are entire entire videos of Overwatch online that look cool and got you into the game. Other than the fact that the characters just look hot. Like, if your characters are being cosplayed, then those are appealing characters. If that's not happening, then they're just bad. Is it because Wild Light has a foot in the door? The way far riskier game did not? Is all this talk about giving the game a chance really only about giving this especially safe game made with nothing much to say a chance? Do devs that consider profit margins deserve more love than those creating from the sheer thrill? Games fail, it's sad, but in Highguard's case, it's not a shock. It's not a shock, but it's what we want. I mean, we want bad games to fail and good games to do good. That way, you get more good games and less bad games. Unfortunately, we do not owe Highguard our support. This is why I found remarks made by Sven Veek Director of Baldur's Gate 3, so troubling. His feeling that some entity should evaluate critics to test their mettle suggests that critics were either wrong about Highguard by default simply because they did not like it, or worse, should be punished for the crime of giving their opinion on a video game because the truth made someone feel bad. I could point out everyone always says game journalists know nothing anyway, and if they truly believe that, they should stop caring what numbers we give things. I could point out that this system would easily be abused, but instead I will simply say that he is wrong. I mean, again, you're bringing up, I don't know what the fuck his fucking remark was. So, whatever. At the time of writing, Highguard sits at 65 to, I don't know, 100 on Metacritic, considerably higher than the 2 out of 10 it has from players. Again, people who actually played the fucking game are hating it. And when Vic made these remarks, it had a single review that scored it an 86. The previews were mostly positive, as previews tend to be given critics evaluated their individual moments with the game over a short session, rather than considering whether this is something they would continue to sink dozens of hours into over the coming weeks and months. And again, we know that there is incentives for like critics and streamers to give games thumbs up, like we've seen this with like Marathon, and with like what was the new Nintendo game, the Mario Kart 2. Like, we know that there's incentives to just give it better ratings. And we know those incentives are kind of in play, especially here. Even though this is still kind of bad, this is absolutely abominable. And again, why the divide? Like, this is still a big fucking divide between the critics and the people who've played the game. But whatever, I just... Let's look at the comments, shall we? Live service games failing really should be routine. Take me back to when we could buy the game and play it with friends instead of leasing one and contending sweaty strangers on the internet. Yeah. And again, let's take back to times where just bad. If a game was bad, I'd say even bad games back then are better than most AAA games now. Like, I think there's certain games that Angry Joe have given a bad rep on, but it's his opinion. But I mean, you'll have people that will never play the fucking game, just parrot his opinion, which is fine. But I'll say, given games are coming out now, a lot of people will give older games a chance. Although the player count has dropped, its peak in its last 24 hours is still 12K on Steam, which was as the same as the day before. That presumably puts it around 25K across all platforms. I'm not defending the game in any way, but it seems like an acceptable level given everything that the devs has said very specifically on this side, I think. It's a free game, so the point is the microtransactions. And two, do you think it's going to maintain that within a month or so? I mean, the point of this business model is to have that player concurrency. And dropping from 100,000 to 25K, that's a relatively big drop within a couple of days. How many do you think people are still playing? How many will still be playing in about a week? I mean, I'm looking at these numbers, I'm like, yeah, that's bad. To lose that many players within a short amount of time. Like, usually player loss happens within, like, a span of half a year to a couple months. But this is a biblical drop in the game's players. But anyway, again, Highguard's failure shouldn't matter this much, and it does because people want bad games to get the fuck out of the space and let people who make good games thrive. Indie devs that actually put passion into their game to make money. I mean, that's reasonable. Do you think that's not reasonable? I think it's pretty reasonable. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. Peace.